Marvel's Avengers. A lot of people are calling it the greatest superhero game ever made. At least according to CBR. No, I'm just kidding. CBR didn't say that. But listen, here's the thing. Again, do not contact the person who wrote this article. I say this every time we talk about articles, or I try to. It's a lasting rule on this channel. We're just discussing the ideas of the articles. I sometimes talk about articles that I think are interesting. Sometimes I talk about ones that I think are a little bit of a silly concept. I think this one's a little silly personally, the reality behind it. But we'll hit it. Can Hawkeye save the Marvel's Avengers game? Really, the question comes down to, can anything save the Marvel's Avengers game? And what do you think about it? Now, before we hop into this, we have reworked the Patreon. There are now 80, actually over 80, exclusive patron-only videos on the Patreon. Things from the past, things from the present, and there's going to be things from the future. We're getting into a lot over there. Like I said before, many are calling it the Netflix of Degenerate. Now, I'm not saying that, but I've heard a lot of good people. Many people are saying that. Many people. I've heard your mom say it. I've heard your dad say it. I've heard everybody say it. So be sure to check that out. The link is in the description down below. We appreciate your support so much. Thank you very much. Now, this is the thing with this. CBR has kind of implied that Hawkeye might be able to save the Marvel's Avengers game. Now, I am more positive on this game than you. I am more positive on this game than a lot of people.
Sure.
I give it a little bit of credit. I can sit down and play it for an hour. I have a fun time. And the people who really enjoy it, I think a lot of them are a little younger, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like, I think it appeals to the audience that likes it. That's cool. However, I think it's hard to argue that this game didn't come out and disappoint a lot of people who played it. Doesn't continually disappoint a lot of people who played it. Many people got rid of the game. Most of the player base left on PC. We know that for sure off of numbers. We don't know console. Console doesn't share numbers. We don't know that. But that's a telling sign that you lost like 98% of your player base on PC. That's a problem. And Kate Bishop didn't exactly help that much when we look at, PC. So again, that's, PC is smaller than the overall console market, worth admitting. But it's still a bad indicator, and why could Hawkeye just come in, swoop in, and save this, especially when he's going to be another bow and arrow character that came out right after Kate Bishop, and she had powers.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with this. I think, to start, the idea that Hawkeye would be the one to save this, the idea that even Kate Bishop would be a helpful start to their DLC plans, I think is a major problem. We were talking a little bit before the video about how, first, it probably would be good, I think what you mentioned, was it'd be good to rework the 6 characters you have right now, which are the Avengers, which you would think
the game style, I think, like the substance.
Correct, correct.
You need to rework the drops. You need to make things more unique. Destiny did this.
Yeah.
Like, not to cut you off, but Destiny, the Taken King, yes, it added new content, but it was all about fixing the existing game to make it a really good game. And Destiny, the Taken King, whether you like Destiny or not, it's pretty much undisputed that came in and improved the game tenfold.
Oh, I've heard that.
They needed something like that because this was already suffering from loss of players, people not engaging in content. It's getting hard to find people in matchmaking sometimes. That's a problem. This game's not even a year old. It's,
It's not great.
You said other than the rework, if you weren't going to do that right away, you needed to come out swinging. You said Spider-Man immediately.
I think that would have been the right call. Is you bring in someone who is going to attract your player base and is going to be the biggest name that you can drop, really, aside from the Avengers that you have right now. Obviously, there was Black Panther rumors. There was, I think, She-Hulk was another one. You bring in Spider-Man, and you've at least garnered some attention to bring people back in. And then, if that time, say you bring in Spider-Man and you add in other content as well to spice up what's going on with the foundation of your game right now, maybe you then retain some of those people that you bring in with Spider-Man. The problem is you bring in someone like Kate Bishop and then Hawkeye. Not only are they insanely similar characters, so you're getting a really big character, I guess, not much of a difference at all there in the gameplay, likely. You're also getting characters that aren't like giant draws, really. Like I wouldn't go back, say that I played the Kate Bishop DLC, and you're like, all right, Hawkeye's next. I don't even know really how interested I would be if at all. And I know that I personally am not interested in that really at all. If you brought in Spider-Man, Black Panther, it's like, all right, I'm getting a completely different style, new character, and you're completely injecting a new, fresh vibe into the game. That's not happening with this, so I don't see how this would really improve anyone's desire to play this game.
The one problem I do have, and I'm not saying this to debate you, but I'm saying it with people who did want to see Spider-Man first in general, is that he's exclusive to PlayStation. So I think the one issue is that they needed to come out with something for both to try and retain people. But either way, I think we can admit they came out with the wrong thing. Kate Bishop, I honestly believe I had like a cramp randomly.
Oh no, dude.
I honestly believe that Kate Bishop is one of the funnest characters to play as in the game.
Oh, she's good.
There's no brand recognition there, by the way. And that's something that we were talking about is this has not been smart with when it releases things. Here's how you should have done this. If you were going to try and rely on characters to improve the game, they have talked in their war tables about reworking elements and improving the game. People have mentioned that in the comments. I give them that credit. I have not seen a lot of it yet. So do it. You know what I mean? Over time, show me that. I will give you the credit. They've said it. We need to see it. But the thing is, if you're relying on characters right now to help retain players and improve the game, one, you can't just launch with something exclusive to one platform because then you've alienated Xbox users further away, maybe permanently. That already pissed them off that was exclusive. And even people with a PlayStation like you and me said it was dumb. Like, we even said, like, why? It's dumb. It's a character. It's just silly. But the other thing is, there was a clamor for certain characters. Now, I'm not saying that you should exploit tragedies. I'm not saying that at all. But Chadwick Boseman, with everything that happened, there was a resurgence of interest in Black Panther. You can say, like, well, that's not good to exploit. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that people were like, I want to play Black Panther. Black Panther's cool. I like him. I connected with him in the movies. He meant a lot to a very large group of people. And even the people that, don't, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Even the people that are from a different background still really like the character.
Well,
so
and
it connected with everyone.
Yeah, and he was already, like, in their plans beforehand.
Yeah,
that was
leaked.
rumored beforehand. So to be able to do that and have, and I didn't even really think about the PlayStation exclusive thing. So if you bring in Black Panther with some name recognition there and have, like, an interesting story and bring some substance.
With all that thirst for the character right there. Like, for a solid 3 months, I think there was, like, a really big... Man, that sucks. Black Panther was really cool.
Yeah.
I love him. I love I love Chadwick Boseman as an actor. There was a lot of that feeling, and it could have kind of recaptured a little bit of that feeling for players of, like, I get to be Black Panther. That's cool.
Yes, and start rebuilding your player base, and then maybe retaining your player base. And then you start actually building up the community in the game again, and you have momentum from which you really should have had from the beginning if you maybe delayed this game and gave it the time that it needed to fully developed, but it's not there yet. It is what it is. It already happened.
Well, and I was going to say, too, like, speaking of that brand recognition, we also said that Kate Bishop should have come out when the Kate Bishop and Hawkeye show launched, or like a week later.
For sure.
Spider-Man should launch, like, around the time of the third movie, or something like that.
Or you bring in someone like Wanda or Vision from the show. Like, that's great. And build on this momentum.
Start introducing MCU costumes.
Yes.
There's a lot of, like, they're going for this, like, nostalgia-ish thing, to try and push the game and keep it going. Like, you like the Avengers, right? These are the Avengers. Yes, we do. But these are not the version of the Avengers that most of us grew up with. A lot of us who didn't read Avengers comics much, I got into the new Avengers line of comics, which is a different lineup. It's like Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Wolverine, like all these people. That's a different lineup than the Avengers we got in the movie, So a lot of us grew up with MCU Avengers, and we don't really get that at all in here. We get some passive joke Easter egg references. That's it. If you want to push this off character inclusion and nostalgia, I think you need to go for what people grew up with. But overall, the game needs to be reworked. But I'm just saying, if you're going for that, it can't start with Kate Bishop. She's awesome. But, like, that is such a niche pick, man.
Yeah, and she should have came out later. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have come out at some point, like you said. I think that they actually did a really good job with her combat, and she's a fun character. I think she's one of my favorite ones to play with in the game, too, when I played with her a little bit. She was a blast. But I think that, like you said, there should have been some idea of, like, well, we need to capture interest in this game again, and we don't have it right now. What do? Let's find a place where we can build momentum and start to build this game up again so we can make it profitable and we can actually have a community going, because they don't have that right now. And now because of that, they're bringing out Hawkeye. I feel like I'm not alone in saying I don't really care is really where it is with that. And that's a bummer, because I wish that there was some, like, oh, I'm excited for Black Panther. Oh, I can't wait for Spider-Man to come out just to try that and see how it is. I don't really care about trying Hawkeye because it feels like it's just male Kate Bishop and that's it. So I don't know. It's a bummer the way it turned out.
And I like Kate Bishop. I like Hawkeye fine, and I enjoy this game sometimes, and I don't care. Like, I'm just being serious. And now I'm not taking a dump on anyone who does. I think sometimes when we talk about this game, people get really mad and they're like, well, I really like it. Yeah, I have nothing against you. I'm glad you enjoy it.
That's great.
You're getting free content. You're having a fun time. Nobody should tell you you can't have fun. It's more just like the general consensus, and that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it, is that a lot of people are disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, that was the general consensus of Spider-Man 3. I really liked that movie. Doesn't mean that a lot of people didn't. You know, I still can like it, and that's fine. I don't feel threatened by the people who don't. They're allowed to think whatever they want. But I do think that it's a frustrating situation. I don't think Hawkeye will really fix this much. I don't think throwing characters at the game will fix it much. Again, they've mentioned in War Tables reworking the game, fixing elements, fixing drops, making it more engaging. Please do it. Because we live in an age where people are willing to come back. They're willing to give things second chances. No Man's Sky. Friday the 13th improved over time. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it did improve over time. Destiny 1. All this stuff. I mean, it has improved over time.
Battlefront 2?
Yeah, Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14, the online MMO. Totally reworked. People are willing to come back if you blow them away, but if you just saunter through with mediocrity, no one cares. And by the time you try and fix it, then no one cares. So that's kind of our take on it. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I hope that they they start adding in characters and fixing the original ones that they have, and then when they finally do add in some of the big name guys, which it might be too late, it might already be too late, but when they finally do start adding in some of the big name guys, there's just more to do. It's less repetitive, and the core characters that were there in the first place have it's more fun and more interesting to play with them in the first place as well, because they are the Avengers. It should be a blast, and we shouldn't be bored of playing with them after a couple of months, or even really, it happened within probably a couple of weeks for some people. So yeah. It's just a bummer the way it turned out, and I hope that they're able to fix it and rework it.
My true hope is that within a year that this game will continue being worked on, and it will look like an entirely different game.
That'd be great.
That's my hope. I'm not saying I have faith in it, but it's I hope so. And I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I own the game. I'm not selling it. I will come back and check it out as they add stuff in. I'm open to it. So just, prove it to me. That's all I'm saying. Just show me, don't tell me. So anyway, these are our thoughts on Hawkeye, the Marvel's Avengers add-on that's coming out near future. Just some stuff with that, if it will fix it, I guess. What do you think about this game? Are you a fan? Do you dislike it? A lot of people say they forgot about it already. I get that. There's a lot of memes in the comments. You guys are pretty savage. A lot more mean to this game than we are. But let us know what you think. And hey, be sure to check out in the description down below. We have the Patreon, which we have reworked to include over 80, that is right, 80 different patron-exclusive videos and all kinds of other things, including shout-outs and behind-the-scenes posts. We hope you check that out, and a secondary channel. The link are in the description down below, also to all our social media and a thriving Discord. We hope to see you on all those, and have a fantastic day. And as always, stay shui. And hey, if you enjoy this game, don't let people tell you can't have fun. I get really tired of that. Enjoy what you enjoy. Be open to new stuff, Have a fun time. It's better than hating everything.